South Korea just lost $1 trillion in a month. Samsung's down. SK Hynix, the company that briefly became more valuable than Samsung, is down. Oil is spiking because Iran and the US are back to exchanging fire. The Dow just had its worst day since April. The VIX is creeping up. Everything, and I mean everything, looks like it's on fire. And the S&P 500, basically flat, sitting a few percent off its all-time high like nothing happened. This is the 2026 market paradox. And today we're going to break down why the thing that's supposed to reflect the economy doesn't. Let's start with the disaster. Korea's KOSPI index went full rocket then rock in 2026. It gained over 100%, basically doubling, riding the AI infrastructure hype train because Korea makes the memory chips that power every GPU on Earth. In June, SK Hynix actually overtook Samsung as Korea's most valuable company for the first time in 25 years. Peak euphoria. Then China announced it had started mass producing its own deep ultraviolet chip making tools. Translation, we don't need you as much anymore, and the entire trade unwound in days, not weeks. Days. The KOSPI dropped almost 11% in a single overnight session. Circuit breakers, the automatic stop trading before everyone panics mechanism, got triggered 8 separate times in 2026 alone, more than most entire calendar years combined. By the end of July, the index was down close to 40% from its June peak. SK Hynix and Samsung were each shedding double digits in a single session, like watching a stock market speed run in reverse. And here's the part that made it so violent: leverage. Korean retail investors piled into leveraged ETFs during the rally, and when those products need to rebalance in a falling market, they're mechanically forced to sell more, which pushes the price down further, which forces more selling. It's a feedback loop with no brakes. One guy in Seoul told reporters he might have to postpone his wedding because his down payment fund is down 25%. That's the human cost behind the candlestick chart. Meanwhile, it's not just Korea. The US and Iran are trading strikes again. Iran attempted a surprise attack on American troops. The US intercepted it, and oil spiked, with Brent crude jumping over 6% in a day. Higher oil means higher inflation fears, which means the Fed is stuck holding rates instead of cutting them. The Dow dropped 1,100 points in a single session on fears the Fed is falling behind. Chip stocks in Asia bled into US pre-market trading. Micron, the memory chip maker, dropped 5% before the bell, despite guiding for $50 billion in revenue. Even the AI bubble is deflating narrative started trending, with traders rotating out of tech and into boring, safe sectors like consumer staples. So to recap, geopolitical conflict, a historic Asian stock crash, a hawkish Fed, and whispers of an AI bubble popping, all at the same time. And yet, the S&P 500 is up nearly 17% over the past year. Why? 2 words: earnings and concentration. First, earnings are actually good, not good considering the circumstances, genuinely strong. S&P 500 companies are on track for something like 38% year-over-year earnings growth this quarter, way above what analysts expected. Ford beat earnings and raised guidance. Coca-Cola beat and raised guidance. Microsoft posted strong numbers that actually helped calm the chip stock panic. When the companies making up the index are printing money, the index reflects that, regardless of what's happening in Seoul or the Middle East. Second, and this is the part most people miss, the S&P 500 isn't 500 equally weighted companies. It's dominated by a handful of giants. Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, Meta, these companies alone can move the index more than the other 490 combined. So when people say the market is up, what they often mean is 8 companies are up. The index can be at a record high, while a huge chunk of individual stocks underneath it are quietly bleeding. That's not a conspiracy, it's just math. It's called cap weighting, and it means the stock market and the average stock are 2 very different things. Think of the S&P 500 less like a poll of 500 companies and more like a popularity contest, where the biggest kids get the most votes. If Nvidia rips 5% and some regional bank drops 5%, the index barely notices the bank because Nvidia's market cap dwarfs it. Multiply that dynamic across the 10 biggest companies, which now make up a wildly disproportionate share of total index weight, and you get an index that can look calm on the surface, while masking real carnage underneath. Carnage that looks a lot more like what's happening in Korea. This is also why the market and the economy are not the same thing, despite what CNBC chirons imply. The stock market reflects corporate profits and investor expectations about the future. The economy reflects jobs, wages, and whether people can afford groceries. They can, and often do, diverge completely. But, and this is important, none of this means the S&P is bulletproof. This calm is fragile for a few reasons. 1. Seasonality. August and September are historically the worst 2 months for the S&P, and this is a midterm election year which has its own historically rough pattern. 2. The AI trade. A huge chunk of the recent gains in mega cap tech are built on the assumption that AI infrastructure spending keeps accelerating forever. Korea's crash was triggered by one headline suggesting China needs less foreign chip tech than expected. If that same doubt spreads to Nvidia, Microsoft, or Meta's AI capex story, the exact same mechanism that gutted the KOSPI, leverage unwinding, momentum reversing, could hit the US megacaps that are currently propping up the entire index. 3. Geopolitics doesn't wait for earnings season. Oil shocks feed straight into inflation. Inflation keeps the Fed hawkish. And a Fed that can't cut rates is bad news for stock valuations that are already pricing in a lot of optimism. So the paradox isn't that the stock market is wrong about the chaos happening everywhere else. It's that the market is a bet on a small number of very profitable companies continuing to be very profitable. And right now, that bet is still winning. But bets can flip in a single session. Just ask anyone holding Korean leveraged ETFs 3 weeks ago. So next time someone tells you the market is fine, ask them, which market? The one made of 8 companies at record highs, or the one everyone else is actually standing in? Like, subscribe, and stay skeptical of green candles.
To the rest of you, the non-believers, the underachievers, the tweet and deleters, you guys make me sick to my stomachs, fam. Honestly, if you guys want to look in my eyes, you guys want to do something? That's what I thought. No, that's what I thought. That's what I